do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, happy to. So I'm Yadid. I did my PhD at MIT on the topic of physiological sensing. After that, started a company that did a sensor-driven generative audio platform for dealing with issues like insomnia and anxiety for health applications. That was acquired by Bose. I spent 4 years at Bose working on sleep products, eventually led the consumer sleep business, was responsible for launching the second generation of sleep buds, and after that, started SOND with Amir.
Okay, Amir, you want to do the same?
Of course, of course. I'll try to be brief. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. Amir, I've got about 20 or so years of engineering experience. I met Yadid about 12, 13 years ago at MIT. Then after that, I spent about 6 years of my career at Google, leading different teams there, different products. And then after that, I spent about a year at Attentive, leading their platform and infrastructure. And ever since then, it's on.
Okay, and Yadid, do you want to tell us a little bit about SOND, why it's different, what you're doing, what's so special about it?
Yeah, so I think all of it stems from my time, at MIT and at Bose. So at MIT, I realized that we were running all of these studies with wearable sensors. We were tracking various physiological signals for months at a time, and it became very clear that the data was telling us things. We had some insights, but in the end, the person that was wearing the sensor didn't get a lot of value out of all this data. And so the question I had was, can we actually create these closed loop experiences which use the physiological data in order to actually do something useful, right, and change the outcome? And that led to the work at Bose, where we understood that this form factor of an earbud is a very powerful thing, because it's able to not only sense, but it's also able to intervene, right? Through, we can talk about the various ways in which an earbud can create an intervention through audio. But in the end, this is a closed loop where we can sense physiology and then actually create an intervention based on that. So that's kind of a very powerful thing. And up until, I think, a few years ago, it wasn't really possible to do this in real time in a closed loop. The technology just didn't exist. The processors required too much power. The batteries were too big. You couldn't really put all of this technology into such a tiny form factor and have a battery that would last all night. And so when we realized that the technology was becoming available, we decided to actually build it, because it's a very powerful thing.
Okay,
And
sorry.
And so in a nutshell, maybe SOND is a combination of a sleep lab and a sleep coach in your ear.
Okay, so there's a question from Loving Music, and I want to maybe combine that with something else. She or he is asking, hi there, what do you think about Oslo? But I want to take this maybe to the next level and maybe ask, what's so unique about SOND Dreambuds compared to the other products on the market?
Okay, thank you. Some fantastic questions. So I think products like Oslo, like Soundcore, they have their sleep earbuds, A20, A30. They're great if you just want to listen to content in bed. And then it's purely a form factor, connects to your phone. SOND is not that. SOND is actually a sleep platform where we have our own interventions. We have a pretty sizable catalog. We have sensor data, which is, I think no one else has as much accurate sensing as we do, and all of the signals we record, well, 12 and counting. And so this makes the platform very unique. If you look at Oslo or Soundcore or others in this area, they provide kind of basic sleep tracking. We provide much more than that, and we can talk about what other signals we provide. But that is the basis of the intervention engine. It uses all this information to assess in real time what's working, what's not working, and is actually able to change the audio and create this what we call sleep plan, which improves over time the more you use the product. And so it's just from a utility perspective, it's a different product. Now, of course, there are other things that are unique about the product, such as you don't need a phone. The phone can be off because everything runs on the case and the buds, and they're connected to the network. So you can, many people are trying to get rid of the phone, not have it in the bedroom, but they're tethered to it because it has all their sleep content, has their alarm that wakes them up. It's kind of a crutch. We said, okay, what would the sleep product look like without a phone? And this is what we came up with. So I think from that perspective, it's unique. And then in terms of audio quality, which we feel is extremely important, because these are all audio-based interventions, and if you don't have immersive audio, then it's something that doesn't provide a kind of an experience which is engaging, and people won't be interested in using it. So we invested a lot in actually managing the engineering to put in such a tiny form factor driver, which is a wide frequency active driver, which has amazing audio. And that is also something that is very unique in this form factor.
Okay, thank you. So I just want to talk about what we will do in the next hour. Maybe we can start with a demo, with a quick demo. I don't know how long that will take. And then we have like 10, 15 questions that we got in advance. And of course, if anybody wants to ask someone in the comments, feel free to share your question and we will answer. But maybe just one last question from my end, that on one hand, we have the Oura Ring and the Apple Watch that are trackers. And on the other hand, we have sleep buds with some technology. And how do SOND Dreambuds fit into that? Those two categories. How do you see your product compared to these two categories?
Okay, that's a really good question. So we view really it's the best of both worlds. So if you look at trackers like Oura, like Whoop, like Apple Watch, they're very good at recording data and then in the morning provide you with some summary, right? Now, again, think about the following scenario, which many of us encounter. You're lying in bed, it's 2 a.m., you can't sleep. Yeah. So you have an Oura Ring on your finger. That doesn't help at all, actually. And what's more, we hear from users that they're worried because they know that tomorrow the Oura Ring is going to give them a bad sleep score and penalize them. And so that it's kind of a vicious cycle now there, and that's, by the way, there's a professional term for that. That's called orthosomnia. Anyway, so these trackers are very good at just recording the past. Now, that's one end of the spectrum. The other is there's all these, audio-based apps that can help you sleep, and you use them with earbuds for sleep. In the end, the issue there is you're stuck in front of your phone and you're trying to find content that's going to work for you. You don't there's no way to know what's going to work, what's not going to work. And we have found from users that it's actually, they're overwhelmed with so much content, and you're now stuck and you're just like scrolling on your phone trying to find the right thing. Then next thing you know, you're on social media. And so it's this discoverability issue where you need to find the right content that's going to suit you. And what's more, the fact that you chose something that works one night is no guarantee that it's going to work the next night, because we become entrained and we really become bored of it. And so we need something that really can read your physiology and understand what state you are in, and then come up with the right intervention at the right time. So that's number one. The second thing is, if you think about your current wearable, in order to make sense of the data, it's going to say, here's your hypnogram, this is how much you slept, etc. And now, sometimes it will give you an explanation, but if you have questions, you basically have to go somewhere else, copy over the data, and try and figure out what does all of this mean. In our case, in our product, there's the sleep coach that you can just ask, how did I sleep? It will give you a breakdown. You can ask questions about specific elements of your sleep. How do I improve it? And it will basically use all of that to kind of build you the right sleep plan and improve your sleep over time.
Yeah. So there's there's a few questions in the comments. Maybe we can go over them really quick before we start the demo. Please compare to NextSense.
Yeah.
Is that something
Fantastic
you're familiar
question.
with? Okay.
Very familiar. Yeah.
Okay.
So NextSense is an earbud. It's an EEG-based earbud. So for those that are not familiar, if they may not be, EEG is basically a technology that enables us to read brain waves. And, up until a few years ago, it was something you needed to go to a lab in order to get an EEG reading from your brain. They put this big cap on you, etc. Now, the new technology is that you can cram all of this into a pair of earbuds. But there are a few limitations to doing EEG this way. The first is the earbuds are bigger. So, if you're a side sleeper, and many of us are, I'm a side sleeper, then that's just enough for it to be uncomfortable for you, because the EEG requires a sizable battery. There's no way around that. The second is you need, the way it works is it basically, there are electrodes in the ear on both sides, and those electrodes need to be in contact with your skin the entire night. Again, some users have complained that it's uncomfortable, that it can irritate the skin. These electrodes need to be replaced. Depending on the type of material, they need to be replaced. It's consumable. So it's not something that it's not just, like your silicone that can be used for years if you clean it. These need to be replaced. And so again, something that's more burdensome for the user. And finally, it's a very singular type of intervention. Basically, they use the EEG in order to play certain frequencies that the research suggests that they can increase slow wave sleep. So that's what I have to say about the NextSense product. I think it's a fantastic technological breakthrough. In terms of user products, I think we still have a ways in order to get there. I'll say also this: it's in the lab, when you're in a sleep lab, it's in order to get a good EEG reading, you need several electrodes. So that's called a multi-channel EEG. These earbuds basically provide a single channel, and so any movement you have throughout the night, and if one earbud falls out of your ear or moves, then that's going to distort the signal, and it just makes it a lot less useful in that case, because people do move throughout the night. And so there are limitations. I think it's something that in the future will get a lot better as the technology improves, but this is really early days.
Okay. Maybe we can double click, if we're talking about side sleepers, maybe we can double click on that, because I know a lot of people are side sleepers, and I know you guys invested years in developing something that is super comfortable, and some people even said that they're not even aware that the earbuds are there. So can you relate to that in a sense? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's so I'm a side sleeper. Amir is a side sleeper. Now, of course, this is a small N.
Unless you want to
But-
hear me snore.
Yeah, but as we are users of the product, we developed it with side sleepers in mind. From my time in Bose, it was very clear that actually, if you're a back sleeper, you can sleep with pretty much anything in your ear, right? You can sleep with an AirPod. You can sleep with those massive, construction protection, hearing protection headphones. You can sleep with anything. If you're a side sleeper, anything that extrudes out of the concha is painful. And so when we started the development, it was actually the first thing that determined the direction in which we went was the form factor. And we did multiple iterations on the form factor. We ran comfort studies with users, males, females, different age ranges, different ear shapes and sizes, until we came up with what we call the Tranquilock, which is our fitting system. And Tranquilock, you get 3 types of retention mechanisms from silicon, and also 3 sizes of ear tips, small, medium, large, and you can mix and match between any of the retentions and the ear tips. And so you have 9 combinations in all, in order to make it as comfortable as possible.
Okay. So there's another question. Amir, maybe you can take that. Does SOND work like another sleep earbud product where the earbuds read your body sleep signals and then automatically change the sound you hear? Can you talk a little bit about the technology? I think you're muted, Amir.
Yeah, I'm muted. You know what? You need take this because my kids just got home and there's a lot of noise here. Sorry.
Okay, can you repeat the question, please?
Okay, does SOND work like another sleep earbud product where the earbuds read your body or sleep signals and then automatically change the sound you hear?
So yes, that's basically, but I'm not familiar with which other products they're referring to. There are EEG based products out in the market that basically like headbands that read your brain waves and then play certain frequencies. But the way we look at it is there are kind of 2 dimensions in which we look at physiology. The first is throughout the night. And so we look at how quickly you fell asleep, what you were listening to when you fell asleep, what the quality of your sleep was, awakenings, and all of that. And that basically enables us to create what we call a sleep plan that's adjusted over nights. And so that's kind of at a night level. And then there is throughout the night, when you're trying to fall asleep, what we call the sleep coach will look at your heart rate, will look at your respiration, and use that in order to recommend an intervention, a suitable intervention. And then throughout the night, we use noise outside in order to configure the level of masking. That's active masking. And then on top of that, we have studies that are looking at actually other audio-based interventions throughout the night that can improve sleep quality. So that's still in the research phase, but studies are showing that that is promising.
Okay, so I think we want to do a demo, but maybe we can combine the demo with this question. There's someone says, will this bud stay in your ear for 8 hours? I doubt it. My ear is on the floor some days, laughing out loud. Maybe we can talk a little bit about the test, the clinical test you run, the test you run. That people tested that for for 2 weeks, and maybe you can also show us. Maybe we can do a quick demo.
Yeah, sure. So in terms of staying in the ear all night, again, when we developed the retention mechanisms, then there were two goals. The first was comfort. The second was what we refer to as stability. Stability means staying in the ear the entire night, not falling from the ear, not moving. That is important. And so, not to say that sometimes it can fall from their ears. So, sometimes if they chose the wrong retention for their ear size, then they will find a retention that's better. But in most cases, it stays in the ear. That's from our studies, from my personal use, from Amir's personal use. We wake up, it's still in the ear very much. Sometimes there's, a whole racket that I'm not aware even happened. The cats made a lot of noise or whatever it was, because the buds were in my ear all night, masking. And so that's the only really thing I could say. We've tested it, and these are multiple iterations until we got to something that really does stay in the ear.
I'll even say and extend on top of that my ear is quite unique.
Why is that?
I'm going to try to show you. Hopefully,
okay.
I'm not disgust anyone here, but I cleaned it. So, but if you can see here, there's this thing here that's
Star Trek spoke.
You see it? You see the yellow stuff? No, I'm kidding. This thing now, mine points outward. Normal ears, right? It points upward, and it actually acts as a lock mechanism. So if you put the earbud inside, that thing kind of locks the earbud in place and keeps it from falling. Now, if I use AirPods, for example, they fall off right of my ear. But if I put it, they just slide right off because of that lock. But with the SOND Dreambuds, and I sleep with them, I want to say over a year now, every single night, they never fall off.
Okay, and maybe we should say something that there's, I don't want to say there's hundreds of people, but you guys did tests. I've seen videos of those people talking how it was extremely comfortable, between extremely comfortable to comfortable. It didn't feel, it improved. So it's not just you and Yadid, it's objective opinions of people that can confirm that.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Okay. You want to show us a demo?
Sure. Okay. So hopefully the demo gods are on our side, because demos are always tricky to get. We're combining technologies here, YouTube streaming, etc. So let's see if this can work. But we will, just demonstrate like a basic interaction with the sleep coach. These are, I don't know if you can see, these are the buds. I'll open them up. You can see, and I'll take the buds out. Yeah, my camera is trying to focus on me and not on the buds. But this is what it looks like. And let me just put this back. And then
maybe you can relate to the part that the silicone that
yes.
That,
so let me
different.
Yeah. So I'll show you a few of the fittings. So this is one fitting. This is called orbit. And if I put it in my ear, it goes like this. And so you can see that this like orbit piece here is keeping it inside my ear. Now, if I turn to my side, you can't see the bud at all, right? It's in my concha. It's not protruding out. So that's the first. Now, what I can do is I can take the ear tip out. I can take the silicone out, and I'm left with the body of the bud. And now
okay.
I can put in a different retention mechanism. This one is called the crescent. So now here's the crescent on the bud. I'll put in the ear tip back. Okay. And now this is, okay, hold it like this. And the way the crescent works, it uses a different part of the ear in order to stay in place.
Interesting.
Okay. This is the crescent. And then we have another retention mechanism for really small ears, which is, we call that the moon. And moon is pretty much, it has no extra retention. It's just smooth silicone, goes on the earbud like this. I'll show you what it looks like. So you can see this is the earbud with so
Okay.
no, it's all smooth around it. And then it's, if you have a smaller ear, then really the ear itself holds it in place. You don't need anything else. That's how it looks like.
Okay, but Yadid, I just want to make it crystal clear. Let's say I wanna pre-order this on Kickstarter. Do I need to know in advance, or I'm getting everything and then I can try which one works best for me?
You get the entire kit. So you get all of these retention mechanisms, and you get the 3 ear tip shapes, and you can mix and match. Some people have, different left and right ear sizes. You can have one retention for one ear, one for a different ear, different ear tip sizes. And so you don't have to know any of this in advance. You get it all in the kit.
Okay, amazing. Please continue. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe now we'll do the demo. So let me do the following. In order for you to be able to hear what I'm hearing, then I think it would be best to basically take one of the buds and put it on. I have microphone here. We'll just put it on the mic, and I'll have one bud in my ear, and we'll have the other in the mic, and then you'll be able to hear what I'm hearing, and then we can engage with the coach. So I'll put one in my ear. This second. Okay, let's try this. Hopefully it works. So I'm taking the ear tip and I'm putting it on the, now it's on the mic. Make sure the volume is okay. Let's see. Okay, let's try and see if this works, if you can hear what I'm hearing. I'm having trouble sleeping.
Let's try the 4, 7, 8 breathing exercise.
Are you able to hear that?
You'll
Yes.
breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 7,
Okay.
breathe out for
So
8.
let's.
Ready? Breathe in.
I'm instead, maybe let's try soundscape with rain.
Hmm.
Let me search for a track that matches your request. Soft Rain in Boston, Alleyway. It features subtle rain sounds in a city setting, creating a rain, focused soundscape with accompanying urban textures like air conditioners and rain dripping, which aligns closely with your rain-based soundscape idea.
No, we can't hear the track.
You cannot hear it?
No, we cannot hear the track. Just the nice voice as somebody just wrote.
Okay.
Elaborate.
Let's try this again. How about playing me some relaxing music, maybe something with a guitar?
I can't play audio here, but I can suggest a calm, finger-picked guitar track idea.
That is a failure.
Imagine a slow 6 to 8 minute piece in a warm major key with gentle arpeggios, soft ambient reverb, and light brushes on a snare. Or I can guide you to create a simple 5-minute breathing and guitar visualization to relax. Which would you prefer?
Anything we prefer?
We're good. Yeah, whatever works.
Okay, maybe we try any, I don't know, maybe, oh, I know. Let's try this. Tell me a sleep story about a boy who wanted to create a sleep company.
Nice one.
Once upon a time, in a small, peaceful town, nestled between soft, rolling hills and gentle streams, there lived a boy named Oliver. Oliver was a quiet and thoughtful boy with eyes that sparkled like the stars on a clear night. He loved the calm moments just before bedtime when the world seemed to slow
Anyway,
down.
you get the picture.
And
This will be a very long story that is guaranteed to get you
Yeah.
to fall asleep.
Oliver had a special dream.
Okay, so let's just double click on the use case. So I wake up, I just remember that today I've seen a few comments. So someone wrote that he wakes up in the morning and I don't remember if it was Apple Watch or Aura, and he wakes up in the morning and he feels that the Aura ring is angry because he didn't sleep so well, and he doesn't know what to do, right? He knows, like, he doesn't know how to improve his sleep. But here the use case is I woke up at 2 a.m. or maybe I'm not sleeping well. I want to get some help. I can use the sleep coach to help me, and I want to maybe mix. Sorry, I'm jumping. I want to there was a question about the sleep cycle, right? Let me get the exact question. How does it know what sleep stage I'm in? And maybe you can double click on that.
Yeah, of course. Sorry, it's getting a bit dark. My lighting is, maybe I'll turn on the light just a sec. Okay, I think that will be a bit better. Sorry about that. I didn't notice that it was dark. Yeah. So the way there are basically two ways to determine sleep state. The first is when you go to a sleep lab, they put a lot of sensors on you. They put up, electrodes on your head that measure your brain waves. They measure a bunch of other signals like twitching of your eyes, heart rate, respiration, etc. And then there's the others, like all of the other wearables, Apple Watch, Aura, Whoop, etc. They use mostly heart rate, heart rate variability, and respiration in order to measure sleep stage. Because in each of these different sleep stages, there's a different physiological signal, so to speak. So, for example, there's irregular breathing during REM. There's elevation of your autonomous nervous system, which we can read through the changes in your HRV. So there is a bunch of signals, and we're able to access all of that physiological information through our sensors. So we're able to monitor heart rate and respiration and heart rate variability and respiration effort and position and all of those. And we use that in order to assess the sleep stage. So that's how it's done. Now we are able to get much more accurate physiological data because that we are located in the ear, and we use a very different technology in order to acquire the heart rate and respiration.
Okay, I want to thank you for that. There is a question, and I know the answer, but because a lot of people ask that, and maybe I want to mix that with another question, is Daniel Lane is asking, can you make a personal playlist? And somebody asked, I don't like the voice. I don't like where it is. I'd rather listen to an audiobook than AI voice. And somebody else said, I would like, wait, where was that? Something about the voice. He said that it's annoying.
Yes.
Is it possible to change the voice?
Yes. So important. It is possible to change the voice. This is one voice. You can select the voice. And so we know some people prefer male, some people prefer female. It's really a very personal thing. So we don't believe we have the one voice that's going to work for everyone. So that's the first thing. You can choose different voices. That's to answer the voice question. So if this voice specifically that I just demoed is annoying to you, you're not alone. Some people find it annoying. Others love it. It's really a personal preference. Yeah. Secondly, as far as creating playlists, yes, you can. This is what we can. Maybe I can show you. That's the best way how we can do that. Yeah, let me just. So I'll share my screen here. See?
I see you not right now.
Oh, I know why this is working. Sorry, I need to just put in my. I can share my screen. Now I can do it. Okay. There we go. Okay, I just need to.
And maybe Amir on the time being, maybe you could, something that also a lot of people ask is, can I use my own phone or my own music? Can I use my own audio?
Yeah, you can absolutely use your own audio. We have a very rich content that we produce ourselves, about more than 500 tracks. I don't know if Yadid called it out. And so you can listen to that. In addition to that, we have also all of the podcasts on iTunes. So you can listen to your favorite podcast. You can listen to some audiobooks that are available on iTunes. Or you can just connect your phone or whatever Bluetooth device you have to the buds and then listen to whichever content you like. If you want a different app, if you want to connect it to your television, whatever you want, you can do that.
Okay. So Yadid, I'm not 100% sure people can see whatever you're sharing, but I hope it will work. I'm not sure what's gonna be streamed on YouTube, but for the people that are listening, or maybe cannot see the screen, maybe you can describe what they said, what they're
Okay.
supposed to see. And
Yeah,
by the
okay,
way, we are recording this, and after that we can put that in the newsletter on our website so people can see the entire stream with whatever you're showing right now.
Yeah, okay. So this, you can see here, this is kind of a glimpse into the catalog itself, but so there are, like, if we click on this, you can see there are all of these soundscapes. Really, there's something for everyone, and there are many categories: breathing exercises, binaural beats, noise, like white noise, pink noise, brown noise, spatialized, etc. And then what you can do is you can either the AI will create what we call a sleep plan for you, but you can also you can also do the following. Wait, because I'm running it on my computer, it's not letting me select. How do I do this? Oh, there we go. That worked, I think. Interesting. It's not letting me select that. I don't know why on my computer. But anyway, there is a way to basically edit your sleep plan, and you can select what tracks are played while you fall asleep. And then as the system detects you're asleep already, it will transition to the track that's selected while asleep. It can be a masking track, or anything else. And then there are wake up tracks which you can schedule that will play after your buds wake you up with a wake up track. You can choose to have morning meditation or something like that. Anyway, that's if we're already in the app, I can show you, like, you can see your sleep summary here as well. So you can ask the coach how you slept, but you can also look at your hypnogram here, and there's analysis of your coach, how many hours you slept, what was your heart rate, etc. You can see how much time you spent in each sleep stage, a recovery score, and then you have detailed, respiration rate throughout the night, heart rate throughout the night, heart rate variability, etc., wake ups, sleep efficiency. Anyway, pretty detailed. You can also ask the coach questions about this. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that will be helpful if we, maybe we will add to the Kickstarter video showing a demo how you edit or how you plan your, the tracks that you want to hear throughout the night to help you fall asleep. Do you still, because right now people are seeing your your screen, you still want to share that? There's something else we want to see?
I'll stop.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Another question that we got a lot is, can I connect this to? Can I connect the the data to Apple Health system or maybe even Google, Android? Yeah.
Yes. So when you install the app, when you open it, it will ask you for permission to access Google, the Google Fit, or whatever it's called these days, and Apple Health. And it will basically write your sleep data into those as well. So and your physiology throughout the night. So if you use some other app to kind of analyze all your health data, or you want to export it outside, you can do all of that. It's natively supported.
Okay. Do you want to talk a little bit about the price? And some people said there is this product. Most sleep products cost around $300, and our price point is between $450 and $650. And can you explain why this is a little bit more expensive than the other products?
Yeah. So there's a few things involved here. Firstly, our putting all of this technology into a product means that the product is significantly more expensive to build. In terms of we have a lot of processors running in the case. There's in the buds, there's the Wi-Fi, there's the display. It's just the bill of materials is significant, and then the way that we basically engineered everything in terms of mechanicals to make it fit into the tiny form factor, that as well has its costs. And so just from that, the cost of this is higher. And then there's all of the sensing modalities. As we record, there are 12 signals, and you will see that. So it's not just sleep stage, it's also the other signals we talked about. There are also like microphones, so we record like snoring levels, etc. And so again, all of that has a cost in hardware. So it's just a completely different category of product. These are not earbuds for sleep. They are earbuds. They are used during sleep, but it's a sensing, closed loop sensing system, and that's the cost of producing something like this.
Yeah, I just want to add one comment. I was talking to a friend a few days ago, and he just bought Whoop, and he's paying, I don't remember if it's $10, $15 per month. And, so that alone, the subscription alone could be another $100 or $150. And, I think that's a big save of people that will pre-order the Dreambuds.
Exactly, because they get all of this content. As we said, it's over 500 tracks in the system, and it's growing, and you get the sleep coach, etc. So I think that in itself is very valuable and can cost a lot of money.
Some people asked about the battery. Can you talk a little bit about the battery? Like sometimes I sleep for 8, 9, 10 hours, and some people are worried that what happens if I want to make sure that can be sufficient for one night. And also, there's going to be a corner case where maybe I don't fully charge it. What's going to happen? Do I lose all the data if the battery runs out? What happens then?
Yeah. So of course we have it's a combination of things, right? So you can run the whole system without masking, and then you can run it with masking, and so you'll get different battery life depending on what features you use. Now, if you use masking and sensing together, you can expect roughly 9 hours or so, 9 to 10, depending on volume levels, etc. That also impacts battery life. If you're just doing pure sensing, you can even get to 12 hours. Now, there's something really important to note. Let's say you slept for 10 hours. Firstly, amazing, good for you. We all, like, I'm very envious. But on top of that, because that's fantastic. But on top of that, let's say you used, masking at a significant level and everything, and the battery died after, I don't know, 9 hours. All of those 9 hours of data is still, you still have all of the data. And the reason is that that data is collected in real time. So there is no situation where, after 9 hours, you didn't dock the buds and now everything's lost. No, our system retains the information throughout the night. And so you have all of that. And I think for most people, the 9 hours is sufficient.
Okay, I have another question. A common question we get a lot is, can I use these as regular earbuds during the day, or it's only for sleep?
You can use them as regular earbuds during the day. And the way to do that is basically during the night, they connect to the smart hub. During the day, you can connect them to your phone as regular earbuds over Bluetooth. They're very comfortable. As we said, the audio quality is fantastic. So for hearing even, your own music or your own content, they sound really, really good and they're comfortable. Battery life will be impacted if you connect it directly to the phone. And so you can't expect to get 9 hours because when actually you connect to your phone, it's using a different Bluetooth protocol, basically Bluetooth Classic, which requires a lot more battery. And so you can expect similar battery to your AirPods, probably 6 hours or so. That's if you connect directly to your phone.
Okay, another question we got, I don't want to say a lot, but I've seen that a few times, is can I hear my child or alarm or a baby monitor when I'm asleep and I have the masking? Also, a couple of people ask about the snoring. If my partner is snoring, can I mask the noise? Can you talk about that for?
Yeah, so you can configure the buds to be pass-through. So basically, the audio from outside, they have microphones. You'll hear everything happening outside. It doesn't make sense to play masking and do pass-through at the same time, because the whole goal with masking is to block out everything else outside. What it does make sense is, if you're just doing tracking with, using them as sensors, then of course, and you want to hear the outside, that makes sense. The other is, if you're struggling to fall asleep and you want the audio interventions to help you fall asleep, but you still want to be aware of, what's going on outside, if you have, a child that's going to cry, or whatever other, things you need to be aware of, then you can configure pass-through mode and it will pass the audio.
Okay, there is an anonymous question we got in advance. It says, hi, I have two questions. One, can the Dreambuds also mask or cancel infrasound? I'm not sure what's that. Currently, I use A30, probably, Soundcore A30, to mask it with white and brown noise. Again, I'm not familiar with that. Maybe you could talk about that during the whole night. Question number two, I'm completely deaf in one ear. Is it possible to use only one bud? And there's actually another question from this guy. A few years ago, I tested Philips Smart Sleep or Deep Sleep and had the impression that it really helped to optimize my sleep. Unfortunately, they stopped the product. Is yours able to do something similar? Thank you and regards.
Okay. So let's maybe go one by one on this question.
Okay.
So firstly, the infrasounds. So infrasounds are basically low frequency sounds that are usually below the auditory perception capability of a human, right? We're not able to hear them normally. However, they can have other impacts because of their low frequency vibrations. So, they can cause various physiological phenomena, but it's not something that you can usually hear. So that, to be clear. Now, you can basically, when you play masking, it kind of white noise versus brown noise. So white noise is masking at all frequencies at an equal energy level, equal amplitude, versus brown noise, which is a lower frequency masking. Now, doesn't matter, for a sense, you can use either, and it will do, it will mask out some of the noise. Even though you're not able to hear it, it may mask out some of those low range frequencies. But again, it's not something that's you can really cancel with just masking. So again, that's my experience. But we have all of those masking types: brown noise, the pink noise, the white noise. We have that spatialized and not spatialized. So if it works for you using another earbud, it's going to also work with our earbud. We also have our passive masking, or passive occlusion, is very, very good. The ear tip creates a really good seal with the ear canal, and so that also helps with blocking out noise. That was one.
Okay.
The second.
Yeah, should I repeat? The second one is, I'm completely deaf in one ear, and maybe the question is, can I use just one earbud?
Yes, you can use just one earbud.
Okay.
There's no problem.
And the third question was, a few years ago, I tested Philips Smart Sleep Deep or Deep Sleep, and it helped me, not me, but to optimize my sleep. And unfortunately, they stopped the product. Are you familiar with that specific product?
Yeah, I'm familiar with that product. That Deep Sleep was a headband that used an EEG sensor to record brain waves and basically emit audio at specific frequencies that were, not to get too technical, that were likely inverse to those brain waves, and to kind of cause this like canceling effect. There's research that shows that this can be effective for increasing slow wave sleep. Again, we don't have an EEG. We don't read brain waves. We read other physiological signals, and there is a fair amount of research that shows that you can increase slow wave sleep using also open loop audio. So not by not reading the brain waves, but by playing specific frequencies in non-REM sleep, and that's something that's part of our active, research pipeline.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a question. We talked about that. But maybe I'll just read it out loud really quick. We have 3 minutes. That's from James. Understand the product is good to sleep on. How exactly effective does it work on various sizes of us to press that on the ear against the pillow and yet feel comfortable? And would the sound wave be good for us in the long run? Okay, so I think that's something also we've seen, maybe that's even more important, is talking about the frequencies. Is that safe? People are worried. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's all about, if in order, you shouldn't be hearing high volume audio throughout the night, because that even not in the night, right? During the day, listening to high volume audio can damage your hearing. That's something that's well known and studied. And so that's irregardless of listening to audio at night. You're supposed to always hear audio at a level which is safe, right? And so that's the first answer. Now, the good thing is that usually nighttime sounds are, at a much lower level than during the day, and so you need a lower level of masking to mask those out. So that's really a good thing. And as we said, we also have the passive kind of occlusion of the bud itself. But yes, as long as you don't increase the volume to very high levels, then it's very safe for your hearing. That's, the research shows that there are no issues using audio throughout the night.
Okay, Kevin is asking something interesting. Is masking reactive and is needed or continuous? I believe Soundcore A30 is reactive based on microphone inputs.
Can you repeat the question?
Kevin is asking, is masking reactive and is needed or continuous? And he said, I believe Soundcore A30 is reactive based on microphone inputs.
Yeah, so we have both. It can be constant and it can be what we call adaptive, depending on the microphone inputs. And the user can configure it.
Okay, so we have like 2 more minutes. Is there anything you guys want to talk about? Something maybe that we didn't mention?
I think, I think we pretty much went into all the kind of the deep technical questions, but we're really excited to get this to users because sleep is such an important thing, right? It's the research in recent years has really shown that if you can change one thing in your life that will impact your health the most, what would it be? It would be sleep. And so really that's the mission of SOND. We're trying to get people to sleep more. That's why we developed this product, help our friends, our families, and customers. And yeah, I think that's like a good summary of this. Now, there's
maybe Amir, you want to take it, or should Yadid take it? There's 2 more questions.
I think Yadid even has a blog post and a LinkedIn post about this.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. We have 2 more questions, and maybe I just want to say something that before those 2 questions. I hope that we can still stream after the hour because we set that to an hour. I think the mission is an amazing mission. Like, the mission is, we have all these trackers that are tracking the sleep, and you're actually the first, I want to say the first company, maybe not the first, there are other companies that are trying to do that, but the mission is very unique, right? We are not just trying to track the sleep, we're trying to improve sleep. And I think that's new. It's a new category. It's a new mission. It's a very unique mission.
Very much so. So maybe we can take the question about the seismocardiogram. So someone asked about the seismocardiogram monitoring, and that's unique, and it's true. It's really the first pair of consumer earbuds that are able to do a seismocardiogram, which is recording of the minute vibrations of your heart muscles. And the goal is to incorporate, like notifications that will monitor this. But again, that will require FDA clearance. We're not allowed to basically make any claims on diagnosis of any medical conditions. So we have to be careful there. We are allowed to say, maybe talk to your doctor, and so that's something that's actively on our roadmap. We plan to give people access to their seismocardiogram so they can, give it to their clinician when needed, or look at them themselves. So that's what I can say about SCG.
Maybe you want to talk about why, just sorry to interrupt, just why it's so unique that we have those 2 sensors. It's not here on the wrist. Why I want to say maybe that's not the right word. You have an advantage where you have those sensors here in the ear versus the wrist.
Yeah. So basically, the wrist is something that there's a lot of movement throughout the night, so it's not stable, not as stable. The other thing is the wrist sensors, they measure heart rate by using a LED that shines at a specific frequency and picks up the reflection changes as a result of the blood flow. It doesn't, so it's a kind of an indirect measure of heart activity. We actually record the mechanical movement of the heart through something called BCG, ballistocardiography, which is, your head moves very slightly every time your heart expands and contracts. So it's a direct reading, a direct measure of your heart. And the same for respiration. We track actually your each inhale, each exhale through the movement of the muscles of your chest that radiate to your head. And again, wrist sensors do that indirectly through changes in heart rate whenever you inhale or exhale. So it's a big difference. Because we're located on the head, we're able to get much more accurate and detailed readings.
Okay, you want to take the next question?
Sure. One thing that bothers me with the other buds, one ear is better than the other. Can you equalize and bring the volume up in one ear? So yes.
I can I can just repeat what I just said. So great question. We don't have this, but I just added it to our sprint, so we will.
Yeah. This we will have the ability to basically select the volume in each ear individually. Someone is asking when the Kickstarter goes live. So we go live in 1 week, May 26th, 10 a.m. Eastern. So that's the day after Memorial Day.
Yeah. Okay, so you want to Amir is asking, there's another question, Amir, just maybe that will be the last one. Okay.
Okay, how will you improve your product? Normally gathering tons of user data and experience will improve the algorithm for the sleep coach. Yes, so of course, user experience is what helps improve the product. But the goal, we have, active research studies, not only with actual study users that test new features. And so that's how we improve. You will be able to decide if you want to, contribute your data to research or not. And that's, one way how the product is improved.
Okay, so I just wanted to thank you too for taking all these questions, and just the video will be available. We're going to post it on the Kickstarter on YouTube. People will be able to watch it whatever they want. Yeah. Okay, so
Great.
Goodbye, everybody.